I'm just going to do a quick talk on positivity. Does being positive change your life? Do you get what you want when you think positive thoughts? Do you manifest what you want when you're being positive? Now, if you follow things like the law of attraction, you'd say yes, of course you do, because your mind creates things, and positivity puts you into a higher vibration which aligns you with things that are there already, which are positive. So therefore, thinking positive, doing positive changes everything, and yes, you can change your life. Now, controversial now, I followed the law of attraction, and I followed religion, and I followed a few philosophies, including my own, and the conclusion I come to is that I listen to me, nobody else. And I think everyone should. I think you should listen to in ear. My personal view is being positive does raise your vibrations, yes, because it does make you feel better about things, even miserable, what is considered to be miserable, and it can really help, but it doesn't stop negative events and people coming towards you at all. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So I'm going to give an example. I was brought up in a council estate, and in England they're considered to be the worst places to live because that's where the working class people live. It's where people generally struggle financially, and it's where life is quite a bit harder. It is quite tough to live there. So I know a few people who live there all their lives, and there is one set of people who live there who say, I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I love it here. Yes, it's got crime, but I've got my family, my friends, I've got a job, I've got a nice house, it's in a nice area, and they wouldn't want anything else. So their perception of that council estate is a positive one. But then I know a lot of people who fight to get out because they hate it there. They hate the crime, they hate the uniformed housing, they hate the poverty, they hate the neighbours, the life, everything. And yet they all live on the same estate. So I do agree that negative and positive is only a perception. I know people who are disabled, and some of those people are the most positive people who I know. They don't exactly embrace the disability, but they accept it and they work ways around it so they can manage a life that they enjoy regardless, and they're really strong positive people. But then I know people with the same kind of disability who really struggle, and you can't say it's how you see it. Now, I admit that I can swing into either way. I can be quite negative and positive, and sometimes my positivity is a delusion, because if you looked at my life you'd say, well, why are you being positive? Because it's crap. and other times you can say, why are you being so negative? You've got more than some people have got. So it is all perception. So I am going through at the moment a really rough time. Up until about 5 days ago I was getting really depressed, and to the point of I just don't want to be here. Really low, because I was allowing it to consume me, and I wasn't sleeping, and I was stressed, and I was upset because I became that way. I lost my relationship, because this has obviously gone on for some time. My mood has descended down over the last couple of years into a point where I went into a dark place, and how can you expect somebody to want to be with you when you're miserable like that? I was very lucky that we've managed to stay good friends, because that's what we started off as, and we're both mature enough to say, right, it is what it is. If it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be. But I have to accept that. But it's been really tough, because I went through this homelessness for 19 months till we got this place. And during the time, my mind started to go downhill because I started to think I am homeless. Now the funny thing is, the first maybe year or something of it, I didn't call it that. I called it an adventure. And when I called it an adventure, I made it fun. And I travelled around Scotland, up in the islands, in my battered caravan. And I went on islands. Do you know what I mean? I'm talking now thinking, oh my God, that is something somebody would never achieve usually. That is such a big thing to do. I didn't have £1 million, I didn't have a beautiful caravan, I didn't have real luxuries, but I travelled around the islands of Scotland for 2 years. How many people could do that? And I spent 10 months living on a beautiful island in Scotland, in a beautiful house. So, why am I being negative? Why did I turn all that adventure into, I'm homeless now? Because when I lost the house, because I couldn't afford it anymore, over time I started to think, I don't have anything, I don't have this and I don't have that, so therefore I don't have, and I was looking at the don't haves, and so I became really negative. And I have to admit that I'm quite shocked at myself at how negative I've been, because up until 5 days ago things were just accumulating, like one piece of bad news after another regarding all kinds of things, like the housing situation, financial situation, and I was getting bogged down, and I was getting to a point where it was making me poorly, really poorly. And I thought, you've got to stop now. And I got to a level of a low point that I was scared of, because I thought, I can't go lower than this without doing something stupid. And then that's when I got my wake up call, basically. This is really weird to talk about, because a lot of people don't think like me, and I understand, but when I go to my lowest points, that's where I find my most strength. Because when I get down there, I think, you're still here, despite everything. What you've gone through, Kelly, it could have killed other people. They couldn't have coped like this. So the fact you're still here is testament to how strong you are. So then I started to say, right, okay, it is what it is. I'm living somewhere I don't want to be. I'm not on the income I want to be on. I don't have the relationships I want or the friendships I want. But that's part of my journey in life, and then I accept that. And then I say, okay, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be like this all the time. Things can turn around. So now I've turned into the positive me and saying, okay, you've got another letter today that's negative, you'll get another one tomorrow probably. Instead of taking it to heart, you've got to say to yourself, this letter is standard to many people, and they're all going through the same thing as you. If you let things get you down, they will get you down. So you've got to stand there and say, no, I'm not going to let this happen. No. So I'm back to being more positive. I'm still not where I want to be at all, because my vibrations haven't caught up with my mind yet. There's still a clash going on. Because I do believe that when you change your mind about something, it takes time to adjust to it as well, because it's a new way of thinking. And when you start thinking in a different way, everything's got to adjust around you, and that includes your family, partners, friends, your body, everything. Because to be down here and then suddenly say, right, I'm up here now because now I'm thinking this way, your body's still ill from all the negative. It's still ill, so that needs to recover. So I need to keep my mind up here so that everything can catch up, and then everything will line up. This is just my opinion. I'm not any kind of expert, and it's quite funny because I've spoken to plenty of experts who've given me really terrible advice, and I'm glad I didn't listen to them, because I listen only to me. If something feels right, then I say, okay then. go with it. If it feels wrong, I'm not listening. So anyway, that's just my opinion. Can positive thoughts change your world? Yes, they can. But you need to give it time. You need to give it time for everything to come there. And you've also got to accept that life is not perfect and other people struggle as well. So if you're in a positive place and somebody negative comes along, don't just shoo them away because they're not in alignment with you, and by having them in your life is going to make you come down. Don't do that. Just keep your time with them separate. Just give them some time, allow them some time, and just keep it short and sweet, but just give them some encouragement, because we all have bad times, we all feel negative at times. It's not wrong, it's not bad, there's no right or wrong to anything, but it's just my take on it anyway. Positive thinking is good for your health, it's good for your spirit, but be realistic as well. There's nothing wrong with having a bad day and crying about it. There's nothing wrong with feeling sorry for yourself sometimes. Just try not to do it all the time, because it just makes you feel worse and worse. And I know, because I've been down here and I've been kind of up here, so it's all perception. If you want to talk about anything, I'm happy to talk about anything. There's no taboo subjects, and I'm not easily offended by anything either, so we're all entitled to our opinion. That is just mine. Positive thinking, try it, but please give it time, like I'm doing now, because just because I'm thinking positive right now doesn't mean everything's coming to me right now. My body is still sick, so it needs to catch up. And the people around me still don't trust that I'm positive, because they've seen me miserable for so long. They're used to that now, so it's going to take them time to realise that I'm actually okay now, because they're still worried. So just to understand, everything is time. I'm going to go. I'm going to take my dogs for a walk. So have a nice day. See you. Thank you.